just say.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
I just committed to opening a shop.
Now, I look, and no offense, but I'm thinking, okay, you're cutting hair. You mentioned you're starting a family and stuff like that. I mean, did you have money saved, or were you like socking it away to do something like this? Or are you just going, I want to open up a shop?
No, not at all. I wasn't at all.
Yeah.
I worked with an old timer that I'm still friends with. His name's Jim, and he's been in the business for almost 50 years. He owned several shops back in Detroit, moved here, and so he was like almost a mentor on the business side for me of barbering. And I would pick his brain all the time, and he would just give me advice and talk to me. And it wasn't until I made that commitment that I said, well, I got to figure out how much this is going to cost.
Yeah, sure. Right. There's that part.
So that's what I did. I sat down and I just started plugging away numbers, trying to think of everything I could of what it would take, chairs, combs, putting up walls, plumbing, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally narrowed it down to a number and just looked for funding.
Yeah. You call mom, or where'd you go?
I actually went to my bank first, and growing up in my adult life in a cash business, I didn't have much credit behind me.
Yeah, sure.
So I got denied there. Went to a family member, and they told me no. And went to another family member, they told me no. And then over several weeks, I guess my persistence finally broke down. I got a personal loan from a family member. Yeah.
Now, was that difficult? Because look, the last thing I think about doing is going into a bank to get a loan. All the horror stories. You've got one now. They didn't loan you, but then you start looking at family, right? Yeah. How'd that feel?
You know what? It was extremely daunting because they all are successful business owners in their own right.
Yeah.
And just the atmosphere I was raised in. Business is business and family is family.
Yeah.
And watching family run through businesses, I was taught at an early age that you got to kind of respect that relationship and be able to separate it. So for me to go to them with a business opportunity, it wasn't like sitting around the dinner table and pitching them an idea.
Sure.
It was setting up an actual meeting at their office, printing out a business proposal and a business plan and a 5-year plan, and presenting them almost with more information than I would to the bank.
Sure.
Because I got to prove it to them.
You had to oversell, right? Their family.
Exactly. So it was a process, but it was great. It was a great learning experience for me.
And on the other side of that now, I mean, I know you've got a successful business, but that all worked out for you guys. You're still family.
Oh, yeah. It worked out great. Even before I even opened the shop, I started paying off my loan immediately, And that was written in. I mean, I have signed contracts, notarized and everything with my family over it. It's definitely.
That's a good learning, though, when you look at family as a resource for funding. I mean, I've done that in the past. Took a loan out for my brother. He was so gracious to do it. But it was a business transaction. I went in there prepared. Here's the business plan. Here's what I need. Here's what I'm going to pay you back. And I think that the learning on that is if you approach your family members just like you would the bank and you prepare, the potential is there to get that loan if you do it right.
Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, okay, all right. You got the loan from the family member. Now it's I got to open up a shop because I told my boss I was going to do it.
Exactly. So then it was just hitting the pavement, finding the location, meeting with realtors and negotiating contracts, which all are things I had never done before. But I've said this before, actually, when speaking to other people. When opening a business, in hindsight, I can now say this, you have to enjoy every aspect of it. Mm-hmm. You have to thoroughly and honestly enjoy the process, because there's, I'm waiting in line at the clerk's office to file my DBA. Yeah. And I'm waiting, or I'm going down to the city to find out what licensing I need from them and what things I need to register. And, those aren't the fun, glamorous parts of business, but they are necessary parts. Yeah. So I dove into that, and that, I guess every day I would just do something for it. And
it's got to be rewarding, though, that you're at the city standing in line to file, and you're probably standing there with a smile on your face going, I'm doing my own business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was really cool. Yeah, and just like signing the paperwork over, and having things. I really get a kick of just having everything in my name, like
Yeah.
it's my butt on the line.
Where did you research? So you mentioned there's a lot of stuff that you had no idea how to do, right? And I imagine there's a lot of people out there that want to start something. Where do I start it? What did you use for your own resources to learn, or where did you go to primarily to figure it out?
I leaned on people within my friendships and relationships, personal relationships, that I never probably would have before thought about in this way,
Yeah.
Guys that I've grown up with, going to the bar with or hanging out with or what have you. I just kind of like took a step back and thought like, well, this buddy's a contractor. He's been working construction for 8 years. He'll probably have an idea of how to put up a wall.
Sure.
And then I just started asking those people those questions. What would it cost to build out 3 walls into this space? What would it cost to put cabinetry together? And a lot of it, I'd say, is not the answer I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like I obviously went straight to the cabinet guy because he does cabinets. Well, custom cabinetry is ridiculously expensive. And
Sure.
There's no way I'm going to open my first business with, custom
anything,
wood, anything. It's like, all right, how can we scale this down? And then it's for me personally, it was just relying on myself. I would walk the aisles of Home Depot.
Yeah.
I had no idea that they had 6-foot counters, laminate counters at Home Depot. I knew
Right.
they had light bulbs, and I knew they had screws and a drill if I needed it. But now I'm like walking these aisles, and I'm going, oh, I can grab that, and I can use that, and I'd write down how much it is, and I'd take notes on whatever, and then I'd come home, and I'd plug it into an Excel sheet, and I'd start chopping away,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially in this day and age, too, you have places like Home Depot and Lowe's and
Yeah.
places that you could actually walk right through the door, even Costco, and know that you're going to get the best price for something that you can use for your business.
Definitely.
And also we've got an incredible resource in the internet, on your iPhone, wherever
Yep.
you're at. You'd be sitting at, In-N-Out Burger looking at your iPhone, figuring out how you're going to spend your money at your business.
Absolutely.
So you did a bunch of research, got a lot of answers. How did you decide what property, and where is that property at? I know it's the one I met you at, but tell us, where was it at?
So it's in Laguna Niguel. It's at the corner of Golden Lantern and Crown Valley.
some prime Orange County real estate.
Prime Orange County real estate. I opened in 2011, and for anyone that's has any idea of where Orange County was in 2011, that we were like the bottom of the housing drop, and people weren't building. There were 2 empty units in the shopping center, one of which was the anchor, and then the unit next to me closed the day I opened.
Oh, wow.
So, that's not prime, but in hindsight, I got a better deal on my lease because the place needed business.
Yeah.
So I picked that spot because I grew up in Laguna Niguel. I knew that corner. I kind of took a step back and saw what it meant to me, growing up. It was a hub. It was like an intersection that I passed by no matter where I was going, a friend's house or my house or a different house I lived in when I moved. It just seemed to be a really busy intersection in my life. And so I think for like nostalgic reasons, I enjoyed it. And then I just saw the value in it,
Yeah, well, we certainly know today, as we mentioned earlier, there's a line out the door before you even open,
It's funny, my first marketing tool was with like one of these money mailers that, you put a coupon in and they mail it to your house.
Uh-huh.
And it was the first time I've ever seen our city broken up into zones for marketing. And they handed me the map and they pointed to where my location was, and it is almost dead center for Laguna Niguel.
Wow.
And I was like, that's perfect. I'm in the middle of the city I want to be in.
Yeah. So a little bit of just good chance that you picked the right place.
Definitely.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. Is that you picked an area that you knew well. You knew that corner from growing up there. So you relied on your own instincts and what you felt was a good place for your business, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that as people, when we look at starting something or doing something, rely on our own instincts and what we feel. Maybe not what people tell us, but what we feel is the right thing to be doing, whatever that dream or passion is.
I agree wholeheartedly. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your gut feelings on things, And I do it to this day. I listen to every bit of advice that's given to me. I take maybe 10% of it.
Yeah, sure.
But you got to hear it all, you know?
Yeah.
And then go with your gut.
Yeah. Well, and I think you know what works best for you, and we want to hear it from somebody else. But like you said, it's not always what works for you, right? And there's in that mix people that don't want to see you succeed, or your competitors, and the list goes on from there too, right? So you guys open the doors. By the way, I met you right after you guys opened. Now that you're giving me timelines and stuff like that, so you guys open the doors. You got 0 customers, and then people start slowly trickling in, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take from when you opened the doors to when you really felt like, okay, we might make it here?
Yeah. Well, so I opened the shop with 3 chairs.
Yeah.
By the way, we're at 6 chairs now, and we're at capacity.
Yeah. For the space.
For the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like you touched on before. I never worked in a hip, cool barber shop. My career up to that point were in slower, regular, run-of-the-mill, like everyday type of shops. And I don't know what it was. I don't know. Well, no, I do know. It was a little bit of me. It was a little bit of Max that started working with me. A little bit of the decor and the atmosphere and everything that we created. That we just struck a nerve in Laguna Niguel. And I'd say I opened up just one person working. I worked there 5 days a week by myself, and then I had a friend Brandon that worked 2 days to give me a couple days off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 3 weeks in that I had to call Max and say, "Hey, I need help on the weekends."
Because you were busy.
Because I was busy.
Wow.
Because I couldn't handle it all. I was telling people, just hang out, and I promise I will get to you no matter what time we close.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so 3 weeks, the third weekend, Max came in to help me, and I kind of had a feeling like, all right, I think we're going to do all right here.
So when you guys opened, did you have? I mean, you talked about a mailer, but was that when you opened, or I mean, where did you get these first customers from? You just opened your door?
Yeah. So for the month build out, every day I'd have 5 to 10 people poking their head in, asking what's going in.
Yeah.
And when we told them a barber shop, they were just excited for it.
Yeah.
So I had a month of just foot traffic before I had foot traffic. I did retain some of my customers I had been cutting for about 5 years, so I retained some of those customers that followed me over.
Sure.
Give me a small base to start with. And then, I valued marketing from the get-go. So I started with the couponing probably 2 weeks before opening the door.
Okay.
And it started with first flyering the neighborhoods, door hangers. Then it was the money mailer. And then there were several other avenues that I tried that I didn't really get results out of. But I've always valued marketing.
Yeah. So this always fascinates me, and that is the culture that we live in, right? So we're in Orange County, and it's been said that Orange County influences what happens going east, right? People see what happens in California. They want to be a part of that culture. To me, you're one of those guys, you're in the heart and soul of that culture, right? Like you mentioned, you created a shop with a look and feel that resonates who you are. Mm-hmm. I walk in, I'm like, okay, there's some cool guys in here. They're tatted up. You had your beard at the time, and you look around at the walls and stuff, and you just see the core of Orange County, kind of that punk rock, rockabilly culture. And it just made you feel like that's somewhere where I can go and like be a part of it. And then when I walk back out your door, I could be my whatever I am, right? But you just nailed it, you nailed it. And I think that might be why you have so many people coming in that can touch on that culture, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Orange County, so I can't be the only one that was influenced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it does, even within generations. Orange County has a really deep and rich punk rock core to it, back in the late 70s and 80s even, where a lot of the LA bands, they got their start in Orange County at clubs and whatnot. So even the older guys I'm getting up there with the older guys now, but I mean, we're talking even guys that are already into their 50s and stuff, that they come in and they recognize some of the posters of bands we have on the walls and stuff. And we start talking about tattoos, and they maybe have one tattoo from Laguna Beach Tattoo that they got 82.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
and I have friends that are working there currently. So there's just